Hey guys, Carl Allen. I want to talk to you today about wholesaling. So we're not going to be talking about wholesaling real estate. We're going to be talking about wholesaling business acquisitions. So if you're a real estate investor and you wholesale, then you can make $10,000, $15,000 every time you wholesale a property to somebody else. That's like you locking that deal under contract, getting really creative on the deal terms, and then selling that business to somebody else or selling that house to somebody else, and they'll pay an assignment fee to you. Could be 10, could be 15K. And if you do 4 or 5 of those a month, you're making 50 to 75K a month. That's not bad. But what if I told you that you could wholesale just one business and make $900,000 for every business that you wholesale? Well, I'm going to teach you in this video how to do it. And we're going to use a creative deal structure called the annuity deal structure. So what is the annuity deal structure? So an annuity deal is like you leasing a car versus buying a car. So if you want to buy a car, you want to buy a Tesla, you can rock up to the Tesla dealership, pay $50,000 and the car's yours. Or you can actually lease the Tesla for a monthly payment over however many years that you decide to do it. And this is exactly what we're talking about with an annuity deal. It's buying a business like you would lease a car. You're sharing the cash flow between you and the prior owner over a 5 to 10 year period. One of the real big benefits of an annuity deal is they're really, really quick to close. You can close that deal really in a matter of days or 2 weeks maximum if you want to take a lot of time over it for your first deal. And that's kind of contrary to you going and getting, say, an SBA loan. That would take you at least 16 weeks to get that deal done. And sellers often don't want a lot of that brain damage that can come from all the questions and DD and information that a bank and the SBA are going to want to know about the business. So you can do it really, really quick. And then that means you, as the buyer or as a wholesaler, can do very little to no due diligence. Just make sure legally it's safe to buy, there's no big pending litigation flying around, and that they've made their tax returns and everything's good from that perspective. Take you 1 to 2 hours to do that DD, and then you can do the rest of the due diligence once you bought the business. And this is solving a very major problem in the United States right now with baby boomers. A lot of baby boomers are retiring. They have very small 401ks. They want income, not capital gains, because they get all their money at closing. They're going to pay a whole bunch of tax, maybe 50% or more, and then they're going to have less money to invest to create like an income stream for them. So we can pay them a lot more money over an extended period of time. And what's really interesting is if we look at the valuations, let's say we're looking at a business doing $3 million of revenue, 10% margin, $300,000 of profit, which we call EBITDA. And let's say the seller wanted a 4 times multiple for that business, $1.2 million on an annuity. And if we go forward 3 years, let's say we grow that business to 5 million, we get it to $1 million of profit, 20% margin, we sell for a 5 times multiple. We're buying at 1.2 through this creative structure. We're selling for 5 million. Then let's say within that period of time, we've paid down $400,000 of the 1.2 million purchase. That gets netted off. So we're netting $4.2 million as an exit, which is really, really cool. And because we're paying the seller in installments, it's a lot more tax efficient. So let's talk about how we wholesale this deal. So it's a $1.2 million purchase price. We're going to pay the seller for 10 years at $120,000 per year, paid monthly. Its existing cash flow is $300,000. So as the wholesaler, what we can do is we can start divvying this up. We can say, well, okay, the debt service cover ratio, which is a really important term to use for the deal to make sure it's safe. We want to make sure that there's at least 1.5 times the amount of cash flow pumping through the business divided by the amount of cash flow that needs to go out to service the deal. So in this example, the seller wants 120 a year, it's cash flowing 300, so that's a 2.5x debt service cover ratio, which is 300 divided by 120. So then the seller gets $120,000 a year, and then you have $180,000 left between you and the buyer if you don't want this business. So if you don't want this business, it's not in your lane, but you've been able to get it under contract, you might come to me and say, hey Carl, I've got a deal for you. You're walking into $90,000 a year of free cash flow. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to put anything down. I'm going to give you $90,000 a year of free cash flow to take this business on. What am I going to say? No, of course I'm not. I'm going to say, thank you so much. That's amazing. But you're going to make $90,000 a year as a wholesaler. You're going to get a little piece of equity in that deal potentially. And what's really cool is if we go forward, the current year, you'll have $300,000 of cash flow, 120 for the seller, 90 for the buyer, 90 for you as a wholesaler. But then even if you didn't get equity, even if you're only just getting that $90,000 a year, for me as the owner of that business, I'm going to scale that up. Within 3 years, I might be making $1 million a year in cash flow. I've still only got to pay the seller 120. I've still only got to pay you as the wholesaler 90. I'm getting the rest, which is $790,000. So hope you found that useful. This is a really great way to be creative as wholesaling deals and using the creative annuity deal structure. Don't forget to hit like or subscribe so you can get access to all my other videos as we put them up on YouTube. And I will see you guys soon. Until then, bye for now.